Hello, everybody. My name is Kimberly Ross-Hollingsworth, and I am the founder of Arts and Authors Extravaganza and Book Builders Academy, where we provide a platform for authors and artists to showcase their work, and we teach new and current authors how to write, publish, and market their book. But tonight we have a guest that's joining us, and I would like to introduce you all to Rick Watson. Hey, Rick,
Hey, how are
how
you?
are
How are you?
you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm glad that you made it, and we're going to have a great conversation tonight. And I can't wait to hear your story, as so many of our listeners may want to hear as well. So, I just wanted to find out a little bit more about you, Mr. Rick Watson. Tell us what you do.
All right. How long do you have?
We have as long as it takes.
Long as it take. No, I'm Rick Watson. I'm a writer, director, producer, filmmaker. Um, um, I've uh, I've been blessed. This is my 18th year. I'll be celebrating in business for myself and my entertainment company called World Renowned Entertainment. Um, I've uh, I've been blessed to be able to produce, write, direct, and produce plays from the smallest venues to the biggest, from here in Philadelphia, from the Kimmel Center to the Merriam Theater. I've traveled to many cities, touring my plays on my own. Um, and I've been blessed to work with a lot of good celebrities that I have featured in my plays. And I'm in a position now. I have a film I did in 2002 uh, that was the lowest budget in the world, but it's become I hear a hood classic. So that's good, and it's going to be on some platforms. And then I also have my new film that I'm touring called Mother's Love. It's a crime drama that I'm touring now to literally almost every city throughout the country. I just got back from Louisville, Kentucky. And then I went to um, North Carolina. I'm trying to Greenville, North Carolina, somewhere I never even heard of. And then I went to I've been in Philly. Um, I've done what have I done in Philly? Oh, I've done Ben Salem, AMC Theater out there, and then I've done Philadelphia. I'm scheduled to be going to Boston and Worcester. They're both in Massachusetts, and I'm
Wow.
going to San Antonio, Texas, and then I'll be in Atlanta. So I'm touring it all to the new film myself, or to all the AMC theaters, and
Mhm.
then I'm going to have no streaming through one of the situations we have is Amazon to be on, but it'll be on a lot of other platforms because we're negotiating with some streaming companies that's going to have me on almost all the channels. So I'm
Wow.
excited about that. Yeah.
Well, that is exciting. You,
Yeah.
I think your schedule is as busy as mine is. No, actually, you're a little busier, but that's not a
No,
bad.
I think we're running a race.
No, don't even
We're
try
running a race, I think.
it. I want to be like you one day.
Oh, man. Thank you.
But
That's an
yes,
honor.
but I just wanted to, first of all, thank you once again for coming on because I did see certain little clips about what you're doing, where you started. So
Yeah. Whoa.
I know. So first
Way
of
back.
all, I want to know what inspired you because I know you wrote a book. What
Yeah.
inspired you to
During
write
the
the
pandemic,
book?
yeah, I have two philosophy books out. Yes.
Yes. What inspired you to write your first book?
Well, uh, the pandemic came on, so I've always pondered writing books and done little pamphlets and things like that. But when the pandemic came on, it slowed things down. It gave me an open door to write my. I wanted to put out a couple philosophy books because I thought the world need encouragement. So
Mhm,
I put one out called uh, "The Deprogramming of a Failure Mindset."
mhm.
That's available on Amazon, and now it's become a bestseller on Amazon. And
Wow.
it's yeah, and they gave it five.
Congratulations.
It has 5 stars, and they just put it on. It's now in London, and it's in Barnes and Nobles too. I just found out, so that's good. So,
Awesome.
I'm waiting for more checks to come in.
That's right.
Then-
That's
and,
right. It's a good feeling. Good
yeah,
feeling.
it is. And that book, The Deprogramming for Your Mindset, is just to encourage people um, to think about building security for their own and building their own company, and to change the mindset of always working for somebody and allowing yourself to be in position to make security for them, for their family, and not build nothing for yourself.
That's
Um,
right.
to build some generational worth or work towards it. The
Exactly.
second book that I have on there, and it's starting to do some numbers now, it's called The Conditioning of Black Self-Destructing Behavior.
Wow.
And the subtitle is Guilty by Default. And
Mm.
that's a book that I wanted to center on to encourage people to understand there's different narratives that are out in society, um, to make sure that we don't have resources. I mean, it's not a coincidence we're not in shopping centers and all the big
Right.
places, because uh, the country itself we're not a priority to do that for whatever the reasons are. You have to read my book to see what my point of view is. But it's
Mhm.
it's put out there so that way, um, because you need resources to make anything happen. That's why
Yeah.
everybody that comes here, from everybody, Asians to Jews to whoever,
Yeah.
they make alliances with them and give them money and give them businesses and then give them to 7 years tax free exemption. And
Mhm.
then for us, it's like trying to, I don't know, our ancestors built the country, but for us to go and get a loan, we got to go through so much and have so much perfect credit. And we like, well, give me a chance.
It's so true. We
Yeah.
have to
So
put a lot of
that's
hoops.
that's what the second book is about. So it's called The Conditioning of Black Self-Destructive Behavior, Guilty by Default. So you
Awesome.
can understand what is going on, from the guns being flooded in our communities to so many different things. So it's my point of view, though, but hopefully that'll become a good seller too.
Oh yeah, it should. It should, because I mean it's needed right now. We need
Yeah,
to know. We need to know, and most of us don't know. You
yeah, we
know,
don't. We just
and
live. Yeah, I'm sorry. We
well,
just
well, that's what I was saying. It's like when we're ignorant to certain situations, it's like you're one that's gonna, enlighten us, and that's what why we need certain books like that, because a lot of us don't know or understand the system.
right. You don't know or you don't understand the system, and
Hmm.
that's very very important to understand that if you don't, because we live each day by everything becoming, the culture that we live into is that this is normal, that black people are in a position that only a couple make it or only a couple have. So it's like, oh, they were lucky or they moved on. But
Hmm.
the narrative for the country itself comes down to resources. That's why Martin Luther
Yep,
King got killed, because he started talking about resources. It might have been after he talked about Malcolm X. But
exactly.
resources is everything. Just like they made a holiday for Black Wall Street, which is one of the things I put in my book on the conditioning of
Right.
Black. It was a time when people don't fully understand this, but it was a time when Black people themselves had more than anybody in the country in 1921, because
Mm,
they did pennies with no resources and made Black Wall Street, and then it spread it off. And they had to destroy Black Wall Street because
right.
you given the idea. That's why Kennedy had to get assassinated, because he started wanting to give resources. So I don't
Yeah.
want to go deep into
But it's
the
true. It's true though.
aspect of it, but it's true. So we have to understand that in order to go further, because
Yeah.
even though resources are not put in place for us, nothing is bigger than God Almighty, and He made us
Exactly.
to succeed. So
That's
with them making us to succeed, we have to put ourselves in a position to lean on that and
I
then go
agree.
forward. And that's what I try to do every day that I wake up. And I'm proud of all my children that follow my lead.
And that's a good thing. And I saw some of those beautiful children online on your page.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank
Yes, that's a good thing though. But I have, okay, so you are a playwright,
you. I'm a
um,
player
and producer.
and producer.
What started you on that realm?
That well, what happened was, uh, um, I was when I was younger, I was blessed to have some great parents. I always had a father in my life, and mother in the same household. 9 of us growing up in the house, 11 all together with my parents. So they
Wow.
scraped everything to put us to Catholic school and all. And then I got caught up into the streets. You get rebellious, and
Yes, you
sometimes
do.
you take things for granted and don't always listen to your parents, and you realize later they do everything and you ain't
Been
know
there.
nothing. So what happened was I got incarcerated and I messed up, by being caught up in the streets. and it took me away. So I was away. Um, I was away a lot of years, almost the whole 90s almost. I ain't know what a DVD was when I came home. So what happened was when I was away, by me being, plus I had started saying, what is wrong with me? Who am I? Questioning myself. So when I started questioning myself, I started putting together like all the things that I was raised with came into effect. That's why even for my kids, I tell them, like what I tell you might not be for now, but I want you to have
That's
it.
right.
So when you get sense, you will understand it.
That's
So
right.
for me, I put myself in a position. I was away, and I started trying to just figure out who I was. I didn't even know who I was, what my gifts was, or nothing.
Because
And
how old were you?
when I went to jail, I was 19, 18,
So
19.
you were young. You were fresh
Yeah,
out of high school, basically.
yeah, but I was in the streets. I was driving Jaguars at 18. So that tell you how deep in the streets I was. And only
Oh
I
my
had
goodness.
houses. I had houses, so I was consumed with believing this is the way to go.
Right.
And when I went away, it gave me a chance to think.
Think about that
So
stuff.
what I did was, if I didn't have the roots that I have, I probably would be like the average young person,
That's
caught up.
right.
So for me, I was always a leader and not a follower anyway. And
Yeah.
going to jail, I had got to a point where I got saved. I remember it was almost like a divine order because I was wanting to think about going ahead because they kept saying about this church thing. I was like, nah, I ain't doing it, but I believe in God. But no, then I wound up saying I want to go. Then they ain't had no more tickets. Then I go out the cell. Then the ticket is laying on the floor in front of my cell. So then I say I'm going out. Okay, well, it's meant for me to go. I get to the door. They let me out. I get to the door where I got to go to the guy coming to speak. Um, and the guy said the ticket is old ticket from something else. I said, oh, okay, okay. So he said, no, but go ahead, I'll let you in. And then I got saved. And between being saved and just giving God a chance to talk to me, because I was talking to an associate of mine, and he was telling me that when God talked to you, he secludes you, he takes you away. Like if you think of all the people in the
Preach.
Bible.
It's
All
so
the people in
true.
the Bible, they were pulled away. Even Jesus, when he went away for 38, 48, everybody was pulled in, and he was
That's
naming
right.
from Jonah to all the ones was put in the thing with the lion, and he was naming so many. And I said, wow. So for
Mhm.
me, before I got into understanding that, I had already started questioning myself, and I never did that being in the streets because I was just moving fast.
Yes.
When I
He has to
graduated high
slow
school,
us down. Slow us
yeah,
down so that we can hear him.
well, because
He had signs.
because it's flooded in our faces in our community, and that's
That's
the narrative of it. It's a reason for it. I don't believe that this country don't want something to go on, it won't go on. But I'm
right.
not making excuses, but it's the reality. I became a product of my environment. And going away for me because I had roots in me that I got to steer myself right. So when I was incarcerated, I started figuring out ways instead of saying I ain't gonna be able to do it, I ain't gonna do it. I said it's always instead of thinking of why I can't get something done, I was thinking how to get it done. So I started writing letters to companies for books on what I wanted to do, and they was indigent letters, so they were sending me the books free. So I got it on film,
Wow.
theater, everything. I had a library in there. When everybody else was worrying about all the other stuff, sometime I was in, they saying, Rick, what you doing, man? I said, man, I got to study some stuff. Because I was planning to, when I come home, I had planned to want to really be in a position um, to conquer what I'm set for to be. Because, at one point I never even considered, I didn't even know I was a writer. And then once I figured out I was a writer, I started writing, but it's funny because I have a story. When I was a kid, I used to think I was strange in this sense. I used to, instead of playing with toys, I used to like to make toys. So I would draw people, cut them out. I could draw real good. Make people, put them together, make them cars out of rice roni boxes, and they live there upstairs in the headboards of the houses. They go skating rings. I put skates on them. I would do things like downstairs was downtown. We was a 3-story house. In the back was this. So, and then I had a brother. He remembers. I brought him into that. He got into it with me. So at the time when I was going, I thought that was strange, like weird. Like who does that? Because it's not the norm.
Right.
So when I was away and I didn't realize until I started writing, that was always me writing as a kid. I was creating.
Yes, it was. You were creating.
I was creating, but I didn't know that. I thought it was strange because everybody else went to GI Joes or whatever was going on. I want that. I wanted a pair of drums. I wanted things. I didn't want toys much. So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
So when I started writing, it was just like a light bulb. And when I started writing, I couldn't stop. And
Wow.
so what I was doing, I wrote so many scripts when I was down, and then the doors opened for me because I had did my first play when I was in a prison called Cold Township when I came from Graterford, Cold Township, and I started
They
this
actually in jail.
literally, yeah, for the whole
Really?
90s.
That is amazing.
And they come home till March 99.
You
so
so
so literally, yeah. So when
wow.
I was away, there were so many doors opened up that I wrote all these skits first from a spiritual aspect. And I never knew I was going to utilize them, but that's how God works. If you work for something towards something and just put it out there, you always prepared.
That's
Instead of
right.
saying, if I get this, I'm gonna do it. Just get
Yeah.
prepared. I learned
Say
that from
when I
when I
get
went,
this.
yeah, when I
That's
went to this, yeah, when I went to the prison and then I was talking to the pastor. I said, man, I want to do something, man. I want to do a play or something else. And he said, oh, I need some skits. And let me tell you something, how God is real and God works. The
mm-hmm.
skits that I wrote were spiritual short skits. I had every skit that he needed for every sermon. I had to write nothing new until he
Wow.
left. And even went on communion. And it blows my mind every time I think about that still today. So when I started putting it, what God does, he says he don't like slothfulness or laziness. So
Yep, yep, that's right.
I'm always looking to get something done, whether I see it or not. But I know all I do is understand that God made me to be a success.
That's
So in
right.
God making me to be a success, I put myself in the position to lean on that what's going to be for me, nobody can stop. Whether I'm in jail or
Exactly.
not. While I'm in jail or not. Now I'm home and I've been manifesting through the years. And it's not that I'm anybody special. It's just because I utilize what God gave me.
That's
That's all
right.
it is.
Well, I like what you said about um, God have to soothe you before you listen.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you read my story or not, but you know, my book was called Nothing Beats a Failure But a Try, and it's a memoir about my three husbands. So I was married three times before the age of 40,
Wow.
and I'm actually still with my third husband now. It's going on almost 20 years, and we're actually getting ready to celebrate our 15-year anniversary at the end of this month. But my first marriage, I got married when I was 19. My second husband, I married when I was 29. And when I actually married him, well, he was a criminal. He was a stone criminal. Everything he thought, lived, and breathed was
You might have been related to him.
uh, a mess. But everything he wanted to do or thought about was criminal activity. So
Wow.
I knew that one day, it just in the back of my mind, I knew one day I was going to get caught up in his mess. I knew it because I was given so many warnings, and I didn't take heed. So I got caught behind some of his mess, and I actually went to jail. A lot of
Wow.
people don't know this unless they read the book. I
Wow.
actually went to jail for 26 days or something like that. Don't quote me because I can't remember because I was like young.
I'm sure you don't want to remember.
I don't. But I remember on the 20, now I still wasn't listening all those days. And I only went to jail for a ticket, like a traffic violation. And it was some speakers or something that he had stole, and he had written a check with my check. So I was the one who got caught up behind it with a warrant. So until I actually came to grips and I had in my mind that it was time for me to leave this man,
Right.
that's when the next day they unlocked the door and told me it was time for me to leave.
Wow.
But that's
See?
because I had to listen.
You had to
God
listen.
said, I'm going to keep you in this jail until you listen. And the very next day after I came to my reality, I said, I can't keep living like this. I have two small children at home. I can't keep living like this. They were Brittany and Brianna, my oldest daughters were like 10 or 11 at the time. And I said, I'm done. So once the next day when they let me out, I actually went home, packed his stuff in his truck, took it to his job, dropped it off. That was it. That was it. But like you said, God have
That's how it happened.
first,
Yep.
seclude you before
Yep.
you, because I had many chances. Listen, I was with him almost 9 years. So
Yeah.
I had plenty time to listen, but I wasn't listening
I
until
always
he
say that
put
God.
me behind
I always
bars.
say that God. I always say that God didn't put me in jail, but God allowed it to happen because He know I needed it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nothing
My
that I've
actions
gone
got me in
through
there.
is a regret. And I
Nothing.
know you probably feel the same way.
And I
Because
needed more
where would
time
you
than you.
be? Yeah,
God gave me
right.
more time.
Where
I
would you
needed.
be if you did not
If
go?
I did not do that, I'm telling you how my mind was. So just like you only needed 26 days, I needed almost 10 years. So
Is that something?
it was necessary. Yeah.
It's necessary. It's necessary.
Sometimes that's why you got to look at everything. Nothing is a setback. Nothing is, and what I always encourage people to understand is that never look at yourself. Never let nobody tell you a failure because you're not a failure unless you did nothing with your life and you ain't got another chance. But
I
long as you
agree.
got another chance that you can wake up and make a change, then you have not failed. You just
You
made
better
some.
tell him, Rick. You better tell him. It's the truth. It really is the truth. But look at you now. No one would know what you've gone through
Yeah, nobody does. They look at me sometimes.
unless you tell them.
Unless I tell them, and I'll be ready. I'm putting out a book eventually, and everybody I didn't know want to read because they've been getting on me about the book. Ready? It's called The Rise, Fall, and Rebirth of Rick Watson, and I'm thinking about it, but I'm
I
gonna
will
take
read it.
because I'm still writing my
I'll
story.
help you.
You would get it, huh?
I will help you write it.
Yeah, I
Because
definitely might
that's
need
what
help with
our
that.
Book Builders Academy do. We
Yeah.
help people write and produce their books.
Well, I definitely might need your help for that. I'll be in touch.
That's right. And you have a story that most of us, if we read your story, we can prevent some of these unnecessary things that some people may go through if they just heard your story. You know, you never know
You
whose
never
life
know.
you're
No.
going to touch.
Well, that's the
You never
purpose
know.
of it. That we're so programmed to live so fast, and we're in a country where the culture is, we're in a capitalist country, so it's only about just keep getting ahead and never contemplating on the right way to do it.
I
We
agree.
just run it and we want to be next, so you could fall victim to anything because that's all you know in front of you.
Yep.
Then you watch your parents sometimes struggle, and then you watch, so sometimes you thinking like that ain't gonna work with that. People, we
Exactly.
don't get it sometimes because you're young and we're caught up. Just like our kids today. Somebody,
Yep.
young kid stole my car and was picking up people. They doing what the Grand Theft Auto games are. So society, the projection of what's going on today is not for us
It's
to be
not.
in a position to make right decisions.
Mm-mm.
They talk about hip hop and they've been making gangster movies forever. So,
Isn't that something?
and we all are programmed to be encouraged or to be programmed to believe some reality in some of the things that we see. That's why I work diligently to encourage the youth and encourage
Yeah.
people in general to do it. Trying to get them to get a book. They're not accustomed to a book. So I have to find techniques and ways to do it.
Yep.
Sometimes I bring celebrity friends along in order to get their attention and have little get-togethers, and we come
Yeah.
and do something to talk to the people, the youth, and I go to schools. Whatever it takes. I try to
Whatever
find it because much is given, much is required. I believe that, as God
it
says.
is. So
And,
it's so true.
and I try to encourage people to understand that success is just a state of mind that motivates progress.
Yes, it
Success
is.
is not based on how much you have.
Have.
Success is based on what you're doing. Like, see what you're doing,
I,
you're a success. I'm on your show.
that's
You,
right.
what do you
Listen,
think, girl? You
I'm
don't.
honored to have you on my show. I'm like, listen, this man
Hey,
has plays that he tours with. I'm like, what? If Rick want to be on my show,
of
yes,
course,
baby.
of
I'm
course.
all for it.
I'm very
I
proud of you
feel honored.
because
I
you're,
feel
you're
like
a
a
success.
celebrity.
Don't never let your never let your success be based on how much money it is. Let your
That's
success
right.
be on what you're building,
What you
because
do
what
and what
God
you
has
do
for you
accomplish.
will be for you. But you have to put in the work, and sometimes we want it more. We want more before it's time, but sometimes
I
God
agree.
does better. So you got to just keep working, man.
I
Don't let
agree.
it be based on how much. Man.
It's so true. And I like helping people. I find that if you help, and that what is that saying? If you help enough people get to where they need to be, then you're successful. You're automatically successful.
You're
You-
automatically successful.
You're helping a lot of people. And
Yeah.
that's what I intend to do.
Yeah.
Now, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
So you said you wrote how many plays now? How many plays have you written?
I got about maybe 16 plays and
And how many actually?
about 10 movies. How many have I produced?
Yes.
Oh, all of them. I've started back in 2000. That's why this is my 18th year. I incorporated my company in 2004. And I
Wow.
started my first play that I wrote. And I remember I couldn't get a title for it. And I just wanted a title. I always want a catchy title. And I was thinking about how messed up my family is doing dumb stuff. And I said, and I called it, "What's wrong with my family?" I said, "That's my title. What's wrong with my?" So yeah, I started back then. All the other ones I had titles for. So
Now,
it's a
actually, I believe, and I think I mentioned this to you. You actually know my sister, Alicia Shropshire. Um, I don't know if she actually did a play with you or was going to do a play with
Alicia.
you.
Yeah, I remember that name. I think
Alicia,
she did a play with me. It was some
many
time ago.
years ago.
Years ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Alicia, I remember the name. I
Yep,
just
that's
can't
her.
picture the face. I can't picture her face, but I remember
Yep.
Alicia.
But
Yeah, yeah.
she
I
actually
work
said
with some
that
great
you.
people.
Yep. Well, it's so many people that you know.
Yeah, there's a lot at this point.
I actually was at because I knew you had plays, but for some odd reason our schedules would never like connect until just recently. And I went to one of your plays and I saw that you actually act in your plays. Now, do you do that
Well,
like frequently in most
no,
of your plays?
no, I don't. It's funny. I acted in how many plays did I act in? I did I did the John Whitehead story at the Kimmel Center. I did, and I toured that a couple cities. That was about John Whitehead from McFadden and Whitehead. Ain't no stopping us now. So I did his second wife story, and I played him. But after I wrote her story, she kept saying, I said, "We gotta find somebody to play it." She was thinking like, "You should play it, Rick." And I act. But I like just more being behind the scenes. And then after I did it, and my audience seen me do that, oh my goodness, they was like, "I ain't come nothing else. You ain't in it." So I acted in that, and then I acted in another play one time that I had something, and then something happened to the lead guy. So I just came in and played it. My daughter always tell me, "Dad, you was made to play that." I said, "What are you talking about? That guy was a womanizer, player, everything." Man.
But you're actually really good. So my
Oh,
thing
wow.
is, why not? Look at Tyler Perry. He plays in his listen. When
Well,
I make my play together, I'm gonna play a part
well,
in it.
yeah, right. Well, what I
Guess
did was
what?
I wanted to make sure that I became a prime, really good director first. So I'm
Yeah,
always thinking
that
on that.
makes sense.
So I actually did get it done. And by the time I did that, I felt comfortable as a director because
That
you have to bring it to life. And then I know I wanted to be in this for a long time, so I don't want to have to do something. And then
right.
I started acting and directing at the same time, and then never found out the chemistry for both to
That's true.
be tight enough to go forward. So for
That's
me, I feel comfortable now jumping in, but I still don't want to do it a lot because a lot of times I'm trying to really critique actors.
right.
And now if I be in it and then I'm starring in it, it's more comfortable for me because I don't have to critique them as much. But if I'm just being in it and then somebody's a star, I got to make sure they right. Then I got to make sure the ones by me next to
Yeah.
me and my other actors on the team got to be right. So I don't mind the work and I don't mind doing it because the first movie that I put out now and is on YouTube and everybody go watch it. I started in that because the budget got so low. Got so
I
low that
definitely need you to place those links so that
I,
we can see it.
yeah,
See
I gotta
the,
see some of the links, yeah, so y'all can go and see some of
I
before
think
it
I
started getting
started
free.
watching one.
Yeah, I did. I put it on social media one time. A lot of people loved it. So I was like, wow, this is the Lord's budget. The lighting ain't perfect, but it's
It's okay.
a good
But
story. People
the
love it.
plot and the storyline was on point.
Yeah, that's what they were telling me. Yeah.
That's
I
all we needed.
I broed it everywhere. I ain't get no license for nothing. I was inside the casino, Atlantic City. Hurry up real fast, shot in there. I ran out.
It's okay though.
Surprised they ain't come get me and chase me out of there. So I've
I
done.
like it.
Yeah.
I like it because you can see where you started and where
Yeah,
you
you
are
can.
now.
You
So
can.
it's fine.
Which
Look
is
at the
good. Yeah.
podcast that I'm doing.
And then people used to always tell me, Rick, people always say, Rick, you did a movie, man. Stop being so hard. I said, you right.
That's right.
I take it. I'm gonna take my blessing. I got it
That's
done.
right. You take your blessing because I thought it was pretty good. I mean, like I said, the storyline was on point. So that's all that mattered. And maybe one day down the line you could perfect it. Who knows?
Yeah, and if they go on my website, which I'll give you soon, rickwatsonproductions.com, they can always go and preview a lot of trailers and the movie on it too. So it's on my
Nice.
website, probably underneath trailers or something, movies or something. It's on my website though.
That's beautiful.
You'll be able to go in there and watch it.
Writing again? Do you have anything else?
It's two things I'm writing. I've been saying I want to get them right. Two different things. The main thing I'm writing now, because I wasn't going to stop writing because I got so much written and I got so much I can keep pushing and flipping. I'm getting ready. I got so much videotape too, so it's going to start streaming soon. So I want to write this play though because I've always been writing in my theater. I always think that men get pushed going under the bus, so I never do plays that totally throw them under the bus. I always balance it out. Right. But this play, I'm going to really step on a lot of toes. But it's called "Men Lie Too Much, Women Lie Too Good," and in that particular play, I look at that face. Yeah, that's that face I'm gonna get from a lot of women too. that can't say it on camera. That can't say it on camera because y'all got a sisterhood. But
listen, I wasn't always married, even though it seemed like it.
But if you want to lie, you know how. I don't know what it is with us. We're too dense or something. I don't know what it is, but man, we do lie too much.
Oh yeah,
that's
part of
it. Women are, just as messed up as us. Y'all got your issues sometimes too. So y'all like to put it all on us. That's why Orange Juice Jones had that record out. I Saw You Walking in the Rain. I thought he saved men. I'm pushing him, marketing him, taking him tours with me, man. We're gonna always find a way to put this song in there because we're gonna show women do it too. They ain't gonna keep on beating up on us men.
That's so funny. But it's true though. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I'm a woman and I know that's partially true.
That is, you better say partially. Them women gonna get you later. I ain't coming on your show no more.
I'm gonna have another show on the flip side of all this that we're gonna have a little talk because like you said, some things are not. I mean, it happens. We're all human.
One of the surprises, you don't have a play coming. I don't know if you know in Philly because they've been asking me to bring stuff back. I'm premiering one of my other plays.
No,
and it's another one. It's another touchy one. It's another touchy one on women. It's called It's called Your Girlfriend Need to Mind Her Business.
I think I saw clips.
Yeah. And we doing a venue here because I'm finding venues we can do. Because Philly, I wasn't trying to really push them and do them because they want me to come. So I said, all right, I'm gonna put in a couple of smaller venues, 250 seaters, just to do the plays and do it. But I didn't know the outpour was gonna be that women want to actually see this play that strong.
Of course,
they was like,
how well you portrayed us.
Yeah.
We want to see.
Yeah. What I do is I'm very cautious of balancing it out. It's good women and it's bad women. And some women do need to mind their goddamn business. They hypocrites. So I'm doing that one coming up this weekend in Philly for 2 shows on this Sunday.
Where's that going to be?
It's going to be at the Ethical Society Theater, Philadelphia Ethical Society Theater. That's on 1906 Rittenhouse Square. And it'll be 2 shows. It'll be 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. And it'll be the day before Valentine's Day, the 13th. So it'll be the 13th of this month, February. February 13th. Yeah. And it's on my website too, rickwatsonproductions.com.
You said the 13th?
Yeah, 13th.
Okay.
It's doing really well for our sales. And I'm surprised. That's actually the title might be doing it, but that's Super Bowl week day. But people told me, women are the ones in my audience. I'll be able to get rid of tickets. So they actually sell really well. Yeah, I'm doing really well.
Right. You are right.
And then I have another play coming that I did for my mom on Mother's Day. So I wanted to capture the holiday since there's not much going on. Mother's Day, I got a play coming called Mama Knows Best, which is a play I wrote for my mom years ago to emphasize the strength of a mother in the community. It's a comedy, though, straight comedy, and you will have so much fun with it. And
Well,
that's
the
coming
only thing
from,
is Mother's Day. I wish you could have it on another day.
I
Mother's
know
Day,
everything.
well, that's my birthday weekend,
Oh,
actually.
is it? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, your birthday the 8th or something like that, or on it? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's the weekend of your birthday, so you're going to
It
be
is
doing
of
some
my
things.
birthday. Oh
But no, no,
yeah.
no, that's all right. I'm gonna keep going. I don't
So
plan
I
on,
got you like plans on that.
eventually we're gonna get you out. We're gonna get you out to something.
Oh yeah. I love your titles, and I want to see what each one of your plays are about,
Right.
because I mean I love it. The last play that I went to, I enjoyed it. My mom, I brought my mom along. She came, she enjoyed it, and my daughter,
I remember
she
that.
wasn't really interested, but she was tagging along because she was with her mama.
She was just with, yeah, the young people are not really right. Young people, we got to get them. I've gotten a younger audience lately. I'm surprised because young
Really?
people are not really into them, but they're getting into my plays. They come back
Have you
talking
ever
about they
tried to
never
do like a youth play, like a teenage set?
Well, I just incorporate teenagers into plays at times. I don't
Into the
really
place?
do just particularly for that because it's not an audience for me yet. When I'm building, and now the younger
Right.
people are talking about me. What I meant by younger people, I meant 20s, teenagers, stuff like that. But they're
Yeah.
starting to come and enjoy my work. So they never experience it. Sometimes they just never experience it. So when they experience it, and then if it's something that they feel was funny and kept them, which
Exactly.
I've been blessed that my audience really loves my plays, and I'm truly
Well, I
thankful.
noticed that there was a younger crowd on to older
Yeah,
people,
on to older. Yeah, they coming
with
out. They started because
it's
some
a
of them
great
just some.
range.
Yeah, because I do so many crazy titles. I got one called "Ain't That Just Like a Man." I knew that would draw all of them. I tricked them up in that one too. Ain't that
Yeah.
just like they ran to the box office? Then I got all kind of titles, for better or
Now,
for worse. Secret Lies of
um,
Betrayal. I got all kind of stuff.
what
You
was
can go
the
on
Secret
my
Lies
website.
of Betrayal?
Yeah,
Oh,
Secret Lies
see,
of Betrayal. Whoo! That was a
you have
doozy.
a lot
That
of
was
catchy titles,
yeah.
and I think that's what you said you aspire to
I did
do.
A Woman's Worth. I did
Title.
a play called A Woman's Worth. I could not sell out. I had to bring that back so many times because I sell out every show. Everyone they
What?
went that for A Woman's Worth. They all like that one. They was
I
fly.
I do have to ask you a question about the plays, because I know my memoir I wanted to put into a play one day. I just don't know when, and I've been saying this for years. Um, but I
That's
don't
called
know where to
procrastination.
begin.
Stop procrastinating and get it done.
What would you suggest to someone who's interested in writing? I mean, writing a play, or just doing a play. What would you suggest? Turning, because we were trying to
Well,
turn books into plays or books into film. So
right.
what would you suggest?
Well, the first thing I would do is suggest for them to hire me as a consultant so that way I get paid to tell them.
That's right.
That's the first thing. But
That's right.
but other
And I
than
will be.
that, but other than that, one of the things that I tell people is you just got to start. One of the things I would encourage somebody to do is sit down, take their time, and just if you really want to think through it, but don't start it unless you're really going to do it because it turns to procrastination. That'll become a spirit. But I always tell people to sit down and think of a beginning, a middle, and an end where they want it
Oh,
to
I got
go.
the book already.
Yeah. Oh, you got a book already, so you know your beginning, middle, end, and then the script is going to be less than the book. So I would encourage somebody to go through and take some key points and make marks on it, and then write about each key point. Like
That's
in a
right.
book, sometimes you got to go so extreme. Like, okay, they got in the car, the window cracked, but this and that. You don't have to do all that.
Right.
You can take a lot
Too
of
much
that out of it.
detail.
Write the script, and then the script is easier because it's less, and you just take parts from it. You go through the book. Like I've been hired to turn women's books in the stage plays, and they loved it when I was done. I just took
That's
key things
great.
out of it and drew it up to that. Because in theater, you don't have to, what you call it. Plus, you don't want a theater play more than an hour and a half because you don't want people to get
Bored.
you bored and tired out. Like, where's this going? So theater, they love
Yeah.
spontaneity with it, a little comedy, a
Yeah.
little drama, a little all that. So even if it's a straight drama, you just gotta, just write from it. You know your book, so I would just encourage people to take parts out, like
That's great.
but never you take the parts out and you don't do the parts where people are in the streets and outside, because you got to write in settings. So you have
Right.
to write in a position where it's like a house, like it's like the house settings and where it's going on, and maybe they coming in from outside from somewhere that leads up to it. But you just have to write about settings. Think about settings, how many scenes you want to do, and keep it as simple as you can.
Yes. Now I know you were self-taught, right?
Yes, I was.
So have you ever used a like any kind of what do you call like, and I know you didn't have apps back then because they have apps now that can do certain things.
Yeah, they have
You
apps now.
ever had like use like a like a outline or some kind of
Well, what I
what
did
back
was
in the day?
I went in. One of the things that I did do, because I wanted to know how to set it up. I kind of thought my own way what I wanted to write, but I kind of went in libraries and before they had the apps and stuff, and looked up scripts of how to set it out, read them, and see where
Nice.
they going. Because if I never did it, then that gave me a more education on. That's why I'm not even big about college. I know that sounds crazy, but I think that's just a trap to
Yeah,
keep people.
I mean,
You
no,
can educate yourself and
that's
and
I
and
like it.
what you need to do. I mean, you by the time you pay back, and you're always in debt from it. And most people I know in college, I hate to talk about that, but I always tell my kids if they want to do, they do. I'm not encouraging you. I'm encouraging you to educate yourself and to
That's
become
right.
a boss. That's what I'm encouraging.
Well,
So you ain't
even
got to worry
so,
about
you
work. But
right. If the teacher is telling you something, it's
yeah,
always great to refer back to it anyway.
refer back anyway. So you got to
It's like
refer
a
back,
pastor
and you got to
or
go.
parent. You got to
You,
refer back to your Bible to make sure that the script
and,
is
right.
correct what they talking to you
And not
about.
just that, they're telling you, they're teaching you what to do, and then you got to research, do a test on it. Why you can't
There
go
you
do that
go.
yourself?
So I agree.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, I've told people, don't worry about going to school. Just go and take the test for the license after you educate yourself. So I'm not
Yeah,
telling people not to, but to me, the statistics,
whatever
if you
works for
look
them.
at statistics for people who went to college, you would be like really surprised how many people not doing what they went to school for.
That's
So,
right.
so I'm not saying don't go to college. I'm always big on education, but I'm
Yeah,
saying is that make sure that you're in a position that you utilize whatever it is you're learning and put it to
exactly.
work.
I agree. Hey, Real Talk TV, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. Love when you tune in. You always have a bunch of questions. Well, we're here with Rick Watson right now. And if you have a question, let us know. But yes, Rick.
Go
Oh,
to
he
college for what? You
you know what?
go to college for what? They know, hey, they with me. They get the heart up there. So that's go to college
But
for
it's
what?
true.
You go to college to get in debt.
Oh, you know what? Don't listen to him, listeners. No, I'm kidding. But no,
Okay,
you
okay.
will go in debt. You will go in debt. But yes, but I really appreciate everything that you're telling us right now. Um, what do you have? And I think you touched on it a little bit before, but what do you have coming up next for listeners? Let them know. We're going to also have links at the bottom of the page so that
Okay.
if there's tickets that they want to buy or anything like that, we'll have all the information for them. So let us know exactly what you have coming up next,
Well,
Rick.
this is what I got coming up. Well, the main right now I'm touring my film. I was explaining before to all the AMC theaters before we started getting them on the streaming set because I want to build my brand again in the film because I've been branded through the theater. So people want them to see. I'm coming to the cities and people saying Rick Watson do films. So I'm branding that one and touring it all around. I have a full tour all through the summer on all the AMC theaters. So if I'm in your city, you hear on the radio anywhere, Rick Watson's play, Rick Watson's film, A Mother's Love. I'll be doing that, and also you can go on my website for that. And then I have two plays lined up for now. Like I said on Valentine's weekend, February 13th, I had to play Your Girlfriend Need to Mind Her Business,
Can't wait for
and
that. I will be there.
there's two shows, one 4 p.m. and one at 7. And then on Mother's Day, we have a play um, called in Philadelphia called Mama Knows Best. It's a very endearing comedy that I wrote for my mom. I wanted her to laugh at the time. I knew she was being sick and all that. So And she loved it and enjoyed it. So I know I'm glad everybody else did too. And a lot of people think it's about my family. It's about all families. It's not about family.
Yeah.
Also, what else am I doing? This year we will be doing my I'm doing an appreciation cookout that I do for the communities in Philadelphia. I rent out all the permits in a park called Penn Treaty, where they used to bring the slaves in that. So I buy all the permits out every year to we can own the park for a day and do some moment of silence for our ancestors. And I'm thankful that whites and blacks all come out. It's a day of free. You ain't got to bring no money, no nothing. Just bring your appetite, bring the kids, and have a good time. And that's on Father's Day weekend. It's actually the day before Father's Day, which is actually considered Juneteenth, I think. But I'm gonna have that coming up, and what else do I have coming up? I've always got so much going on, but that's just the standard things to learn more. I got to offer. We have classes. We have a new video film company now. You go to my website, which is rickwatsonproductions.com. You can get all the information on everything coming up. If you want to support anything, we have an organization that I honor my mom and dad. We call Caring for Underprivileged People. We always looking for volunteers and donations and all kind of stuff. This is on my website too, rickwatsonproductions.com.
That's where they can find your books as well.
Yeah, my books are on Amazon. And on my website, the links are on Amazon. I guess under the products, I believe. But the books are on Amazon. The first one is it's under Rick Watson, The Deprogramming of a Failure Mindset. And the second one is under Rick Watson, The Conditioning of Black Self-Destructing Behavior. Guilty by Default. It has a subtitle.
Yes.
So yeah, I got so much going on, but that's everything I believe.
Well, real talk, just as have you shared the process of being a playwright? And yes, he did. So if you go back and rewind, he did share the process of being a playwright, right?
Yeah. I kind of touched everything about how I got started, where it came from, and dedicated. Yeah. But just to reiterate something I might not have said about the process of being a playwright. Being a playwright is, this is just about expressing your experiences. Always go into what you write, because in theater is very spontaneous and people want to be engaged. So for me, being a playwright, I had shared the story about me when I was a kid that I always was writing, didn't even know. So yeah, if you go back and see a little more on that, it will kind of make it. I have probably missed much of the live, but I'm curious how you got started. Yeah, we did go through a lot of that.
We sure did.
We actually went through it kind of fast too, because I started talking, I don't stop. So
you all right. You all right with me.
Yeah, but one of the ways, a quick overview how I got started. Okay, what is the hardest part of getting through the door? Nothing. And people don't believe me when I say that. Nothing. It's a mindset that make you believe that it's hard, because it takes hard work that we get frustrated or want to give up. But anything that you put into it eventually will water. It's like you water a plant; it'll open up. So it's really not a hard part. The biggest thing in it is being prepared. That's the reason Tyler Perry was prepared. He started writing. When he blew up, he had all that stuff. Like, for instance, with me, I've been on the smallest side of starting stuff, and I started, and people told me I should do it this way. I went and just did a play, man, and just started pushing it and doing it. You don't think of the level you're doing it on, and don't think of this is not big enough or it's so perfect. You just got to venture out, and you just got to move forward and put into the universe is doing it, because much God says he don't like slothfulness or laziness. So if you start on something, you will get out of anything you put in. Anything in your life that you've been putting it into, you're gonna get out. If you just got a job and working all the time, that's all you're gonna get in. If you go in and start plays and figure out I'm gonna do this, do that, you just got to start it. That's the easiest thing to tell you, is that I don't think it's nothing hard in anything. And in the beginning, I always had that mindset. Like, I always had that mindset, I was incarcerated and everything. I was incarcerated in everything. Let me just tell these people I'm on my live.
Yes.
Well, I'm on a live interview, people. So I got to call you back, okay? I just wanted to let these people know. So, so for me, my information that I would give is to just go forward on it. See,
That's
we are conditioned to believe that we have to think about why we can't do something. We just have to find a way to get it done, and it's really that simple. How large
that's
was your first budget? My first budget was out of pocket. I called it when I was shooting my first film. When I shot my first film, I had to learn. I called the Philadelphia film people, and I was trying to learn. My first film, when I did also, actually the first play I ever did though,
mhm.
out of pocket. So whatever I had, I just did it. I found somebody had a camera, and they was a
Wow.
photographer. He had a camera, and we talked together. We negotiated percentages if it blow up this and that. So I got that. I talked to actors and said, "Look, man, I can't pay y'all right now. You can get a percentage though if it blows up, and you get this, that, and we did that." And what else? I'm seeing they got a bunch of questions. Y'all fast, you fast with the
I
questions.
love real talk. Listen,
What
when
was what
I was
was support like when getting started? Zero.
true,
I put a post up the other day talking about, people come to me still today and say, "Yeah, Rick, I remember, man, when people used to always laugh at you and say this and that," and they probably the ones that was doing it.
of
Um,
course.
but but what happened was, um, for me, I never take nothing personal or take anything bad. I look at it like, that's what they supposed to think. And they was probably right to laugh or think I wasn't going to do it because I had no resources. I had no which call. But what I did have was me, and God
That's
gave me
right.
me. So when God gave me, who's to say how I'm limited to do it? So I scraped and found every way to do it.
Yep.
I mean, I literally, I got books on it. So one of the things you should get is my book, The Deprogramming of Failure Mindset. That'll kind of give you an idea of the path you can take to go forward on some things. But um, it's you don't have no support in the beginning. A guy told me this, a millionaire from two different things. A millionaire told me. One millionaire told me, "Yeah, Rick, stop worrying about people that don't support you. Do that. They're not going to support you. People that know you."
They're
He
not.
said, "Until you make it, and then when you make it, they will all show up."
Yep.
Now, just to say they know you. He also told me because I was going out California and I was begging for money. I was all around. So yeah, I'm Rick Watson. I got this. I do this, that. And this
Mhm.
one guy started hearing about me because I was making noise. I think he was half Asian, white, I was something. But he said to me, multimillionaire. I don't know if he wanted his name said, but he said, "Rick Watson, I'm gonna tell you this so you can stop wasting time." He said, "Listen to what I said." He said, "All anybody want to know how you gonna make anybody that got anything. All they want to know is how you gonna make me money, not how to invest into your dream. So you have to go out here and do it." And after
Yep.
that, it woke me up, and I pushed even harder, and I'm in the position I am now. Thank God for that.
Well, that's right. And I love it because when I first met you, and I've known about you for years, but I just recently got to know your story, and it's like intriguing. I'm like, hold up, this man is doing it out here. And
Bless.
I mean, whether people think it's good, whether they think it's bad, whether
Yeah, whatever they think.
you are doing it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and like I was saying, look at this podcast. It's not the best. And, I'm just,
Use a lie. I don't know why you speaking that into existence. This
but,
fact
oh,
is fact.
listen, oh no,
I
I'm not
love it.
putting it in the
I don't see
existence.
nothing no different than nobody else
But
doing. You don't stop doing that. That's that.
who
That's
knows
that.
where it's going to lead me? Listen, I'm
It's
still going
not
to do it.
small. It's already big, girl. You speak
I'm
that into
still,
existence. You working hard, man. That's just like people come to me, like that know me now, know I'm doing better, know I didn't hire most of the celebrities in my stuff. They
yeah,
always got their indirect little insult. They say,
that's
yeah,
true.
you still doing your little plays. Like, what does little mean? What does that mean?
That's right.
Like that's just
One,
their
one
way.
thing I hate about small
So see, one
business.
thing you can't do is talk your own down. Girl,
That's
you doing
true.
fabulous. You doing
That is
great.
true.
I'm proud of
And
you.
I
You
thank
all
you.
doing all the research. You talk about Rick. We're gonna be tonight on YouTube,
I
on
thank
Instagram. On I said,
That's
hey girl, you
right.
doing your thing. Don't you
That's
ever
right.
don't do that. Don't
I'm
do that.
not I'm
God
not
made you to be a success, not to limit yourself. God made
amen.
you
And
saying
I agree.
whether you got a dollar in
Thank
the
you,
bank or
Real
not.
Talk.
You see what they
I
said. Real Talk
receive it.
said. They said it will grow for sure, Kim. That's right.
I receive it because we have a lot on. Thank you so much. We have a lot to
You
talk
talk
about.
about my
Keep
personality,
telling
Real Talk,
people
or Kim.
we have things to
But
talk
thank you for talking to me.
from all realms. Look at what's going on. I mean, look at what you've gone through.
Yeah, I've been.
People have a story. Everyone have a story, and that's what I am here to bring out. I'm here to bring these stories out, and that's why I can constantly do what I'm doing. But Rick, it has been a pleasure. I'm trying to cut us off before they cut
Yeah,
us off.
before they cut us off. Yeah.
I am so honored to have you here, and I'm so glad that I learned a little bit more about you, as well as so many of the listeners. Like I said before, we're going to be airing on Anchor. We have YouTube, Google Play, Spotify. Um, we're on YouTube, of course, YouTube, and then on Facebook. So I just wanted to thank you. Our next guest is going to be Veronica Dinkins. She's going to be coming on the 21st. So she comes on the 21st of February at 7 p.m. Her information will be at the bottom as well, so you can see that. And Rick, I am just so honored to have you. I'm looking forward to learning from you, and just seeing where my play will take me. So
It's going to take you far. People always perceive you the way you see yourself. So don't I want to hear you no more say my little podcast. So no more of that. No
that's
more of that.
right.
No more
I
of that.
think
You
highly
got
of
you got people that work hard to want to come on here. I was happy to do this interview. So I've been
I was saying. I
I'm
was
very
just
inspired
thinking.
by you, and I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of you
Oh,
being
thank
a
you
woman,
so
staying
much.
focused, and finding a way to get it done. And that's the most important thing in anything you do. So I'm very
Amen.
proud.
I thank you so much, Rick. And I just want to thank the listeners for listening and just sitting in on this conversation with us, because I think we learned a lot. And I'm just glad to have had you come on to the show. And I look forward to doing great things in the future, Rick. All
Okay.
right. Thank
I'll
you
send you
all
some
so
links
much.
too. And also you tag me in this. I want to make sure I share it.
I
Okay.
sure will, most
Mhm.
definitely. Thank you so much. And you have a good night, everybody.
God bless. I could come out now.